Great, thank you. Welcome everybody to PIE's committee meeting. It is January 31st, and the first order of business will be to approve the minutes from November 22nd. So can I have a motion, please?
So move to approve the minutes.
Second, anyone?
Second.
Great, thank you. All those in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Nays? Okay, great, thank you. First order of business is our Arts Commission interview with Audrey Overstreet. Audrey, welcome, and please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you and why you're interested in joining the Arts Commission. Take it away.
Hi, everyone. I'm Audrey Overstreet. I have been writing about the arts in town for the Spokesman Review for about 5 years. Prior to that, I was at the Symphony and the Fox. I was marketing director. And prior to that, I lived in New York and Austin and had been a journalist for a couple of decades. So writing is my passion, but the arts have always been, my love. So I have 3 kids. They're in theater, youth symphony. I've done so much in terms of volunteering for, Girls Rock Lab, teaching little girls how to play rock and roll guitar, or pouring wine at poetry readings, or my mother was a painter, my father is an author, so it's just in my blood. I wouldn't want to live. So when I first was asked to come to Spokane, my husband's from Spokane originally, and when he asked me to come, I did a little research, and I knew it was a town that was open to artists and fostered creativity and was a town on the move, because I do believe the arts is essential to any city to make it livable and vibrant and for economic development, but also just to make it a place that anybody would want to live and work and play. So if there's some way that I could help foster that in this city and be a champion for the arts, I would be so honored to help do that.
That's fabulous, thank you. Council, do you have questions for Audrey? Councilmember Stratton, do you have something?
I would just, I'm impressed, and this is a great opportunity for you and for us, and I welcome you to the community and to this commission.
Thank you so much.
Councilmember Wilson.
Again, Audrey, thank you for stepping up. Would you just give me an idea where you feel we could be more inclusive of our young people in the arts? My observation is pretty fragmented. So what's your thinking on that?
It's a really good question. It does tend to be the same parents who seem to be able to afford lessons and to have the time to get their kids to theater or get their kids to symphony. I think that there has been Spark Central has been something that I know you all are probably very, very aware of the work they do, but they reach out to East Central neighborhood kids, and so I got involved with them years ago because of that, and I like the way that they make that their priority. So they go into the community, they make sure that when the days that the girls weren't showing up, we were doing this program for girls to empower them through rock music, to teach them over the course of 2 weeks how to write a song and then to play it. And when they wouldn't show up in the mornings, if they didn't show and their parent had registered, we would hand call them, phone them up, and then ask them, can we come and get you? It just has to be more active. And you're absolutely right. It can't be the same people who are able to sign up. We have to reach out and be more inclusive. And if we are not seeing diversity and inclusion in what we're doing, it's our fault, not their fault. So that's something to think about.
Thank you so much for that answer.
Thank you. It's a great answer. Go ahead, Councilmember Stratton.
I'm just going to say that when you put a program together for council members and something to do with rock music, make sure that you let us know. And I bet you could get at least all of us to participate and get
Karen, I will get you not only to participate, but I will get you crying during a rock song, which is something I don't think you're going to do, but you will find yourself weeping.
You can help me write them too, because I know that's my next gig.
It turns out 2 chords and 3 words, and you have an entire song. Just repeat them over and over again.
That's it. I love it. And Councilmember Kinnear is smiling, but she's actually very excited inside because she would be the next to sign up.
No, I'm really
summer, August.
frightened right now. Okay. Before we deteriorate any further, Audrey, thank you so much and for putting yourself forward and volunteering and giving back to our community. We really appreciate it. And we will be voting on your approval at a council meeting. And Council President, do we know when that is? Is it this coming Monday or today? It's coming up. And you don't need to be there, so no worries. So thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Council. Appreciate the work you're doing.
Okay, great. Next up, we didn't have anything come off the consent items agenda, so we're going to go right into the Department of Commerce grant acceptance for MLK Community Center, and that is Cindy Ortiz, and we have 5 minutes allocated for that. So Cindy, do you want to go ahead?
Yes, so we had a capital needs assessment done at the MLK Community Center some years back. I don't remember the exact year, but it was done by Bernardo Wills Architecture. And there were several items that they had commented on that really needs to be addressed as far as the facility is concerned and its maintenance and what really are the critical items. And one of those critical items was the roof. And so what we did was put a legislative ask together in May, and we received we asked for $1.35 million. So we got some initial estimates from about 3 different roofing companies, and based on that, we came up with that dollar figure, and that includes funding for an asbestos survey, asbestos abatement if that's needed, and then for the construction. And we also incorporated in about 10% contingency, just in case, labor costs go up, materials, as we've been seeing lately. So we did ask for $1.35 million from the Department of Commerce. So we had Senator Billig and Representative Riccelli as the sponsors for that ask. And then in June of 2021, we received the award letter from the Department of Commerce for the full amount. So we are wanting to just get your guys' approval, the council's approval, to approve that contract between the City of Spokane and the Department of Commerce for that funding, so we can move forward with procurement here very shortly.
Super, thank you. And are there questions from council? Okay, so go ahead, Councilmember Wilkerson.
I will just comment, thank you, Councilmember Kinnear, that roof has been an ongoing issue for a number of years, and it was an issue when the MLK Center moved into that building, and there was no funding for it. So I thank our legislators for taking the lead on that. It is long overdue, and for all the work that's going on down there, doesn't matter what you do on the inside if you don't have a roof that keeps the water out. So I'm in total support of these funds.
So along those lines then, Councilmember Wilkerson, I am one of the sponsors. Do you want to co-sponsor it so we can move it out of committee?
Yes.
Perfect, thank you. Any other questions? Okay, Cindy, thank you so much for this, appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Okay, moving on, we have update to link utility strategy for Spokane's water system with Marcia Davis. And again, we've allowed 5 minutes for this conversation. Marcia, are you here, or somebody that's going to represent you?
I am here. I have a slideshow. May I share?
Yeah, and Jacoby and/or Hannah Lee can help you with that.
Or I also emailed my slides. So either way. So I am giving a update on the link utility strategy for water system. We've talked to council a couple times about this. We just wanted to bring you along of the things we've done. So I'm not.
Marcia, if you have the slides and you can share on your end, that would be best.
Okay. Oh, here's the little share button. Okay. Sorry. I thought for some reason I couldn't share. But here we go. I'm sharing. Okay. Can everybody see that now?
Yes.
Move our little faces out of the way here. Okay. So just to kind of give you an overview of what the strategy for Spokane's water system is, we're looking at the next 20 years where our water system will be and the changes we need to make now to get there. Looking at an overall, looking at the sustainability, resilience, and affordability for a future water system. So there's a lot of things to take in consideration and a lot of moving parts. So what we've done so far, we have organized. We've developed a team, and you can see on there we've got several city departments that are working together. We have city council staff, Kara Odegaard and Brian McClatchy, that are helping us. And then we've hired a project employee, Justin Scholey, that is helping with the organization, coordination on this. And then we've hired 2 consultants, one in more technical capacity, HDR for future flows and conservation. And then we have another one that is HDR is the one that's actually leading the strategy, which has they have some self-consultants for outreach and also for the water system analysis. And as part of HDR study, we have hired Mattis Water, and they are a national firm that does, their focus and specialty is just conservation, water conservation. So then some other council mentions we've made is we've had a lot of meetings, and that seems the way to start out with this. So many stakeholders, so many interested parties. We've had a lot of internal meetings, water conservation meetings, and interviews. Our consultant is doing interviews that right now the focus has been on city council and internal staff and internal key stakeholders. So what's next? Looking at the next 6 months, we are going to be continuing. Right now what we're working on is gathering the external stakeholders to make sure that we have the right representation from, and a diverse representation from the community. We will be getting that outreach in February, putting those committees together February and March. We have started our water conservation model, and that should be finalized in the next month. And also the future water demands. Those are being calculated as we speak, and we should have those for water by March. By the end of March, we should have that. And then another part of this is the MODA, the multiple objective decision analysis, and that's the tool we'll be using for prioritization. And we're refining that now, and that's something we'll be working with both our internal and external stakeholders, especially our technical teams, to refine that. So we'll have that to be able to use on projects early summer. Our plan right now is to begin our public outreach in the beginning of June, and more to come on all that. So we're planning on giving updates on a regular basis. Are there any questions?
Questions for Marcia? I can't see everybody, so if you unshare, Marcia, then we can all come back into
Okay. Okay, I will do that. Get over here and stop sharing. There we go.
Okay. Questions from the council? This is good stuff. I remember the interview, and the consultants were quite thorough. Councilmember Wilkerson, go ahead.
So Marcia, again, the scope of this is, and I'm sorry, is this our region? How far does this analysis study go? Spokane City, Spokane County, further?
It will include Spokane's water district.
Okay.
So Spokane, the city of Spokane serves water both inside our city limits and to portions of the area outside the city. We also have intertie agreements with several of the regional water purveyors. So we're not doing a full water system plan for the other water users, but we'll be taking in consideration how that'll impact the city going to the future. So we're looking at our water service area where we think we'll be serving in the next 20 years, which will be the retail water service area. We'll be considering the UGA, and we'll be working with our planning department, our planning experts to figure out, well, what other boundaries, what else should we be looking at in the next 20 years where we might be serving water.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Other questions for Marcia? Okay. And Marcia, is there going to be any nexus to the river? In other words, will the consultants be looking at all about how our aquifer, so water conservation and how it will affect the river as well, or just the aquifer?
Since the river and the aquifer are hydraulically connected, we'll be focusing on the aquifer, but we'll also take in consideration what those impacts are. So at this point, we haven't defined exactly what we'll be looking on because that's going to be coming from the conservation planning of what details we need. So we haven't worked out the details of how we'll be looking at it, but it will be something we'll be covering.
Thank you. Right. Anything else from council? Good. Thanks, Marcia. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Next up is Katie Olson, and you're going to be talking about the review of 2 power purchase agreements and energy strategic initiatives. So we've got 10 minutes. Katie, take it away.
Thank you. Marlene, do you want to share our slides?
That's what I was just going to call up.
Thank you.
Okay, there we go.
Good afternoon, PIE's Chair Kinnear and committee members. Today, I'll present you with a brief update on the Public Works Energy Strategic Initiative and the 2 new agreements that we'll be using to sell the excess power we generate at Upriver Hydroelectric Dam and the Waste to Energy Plant. It's been almost 2 years since you've heard from me on this, so I thought I'd take just a moment to refamiliarize you with both environmental programs and the strategic initiative. Next slide. This has truly been a cross-cutting initiative, engaging almost every department in Public Works, as well as others throughout the city. With me today for a joint presentation is the core team for the initiative. Chris Avert, our Solid Waste Director, Seth McIntosh, Water and Hydroelectric Manager, and Logan Callan, our analyst leading the data management to support the business analytics that we needed for successful negotiations. Then Marlene Feist, our Public Works Director, will wrap up the presentation, and we'll all be available for questions afterward. Environmental Programs is a small group within Public Works. We provide scientific consulting services across all city programs and departments through data management, reporting, and analytics, as well as policy guidance and advanced regulatory strategies. We also have deep partnerships throughout the community, allowing us to identify and leverage opportunities, creating better value for our citizens. The Energy Strategic Initiative built on the momentum that we had gained with previous cross-cutting initiatives such as integrated infrastructure. We set out to look across all city operations and lines of business in order to quantify, to actually measure efficient management of water and energy resources across all uses and generating sources. We had never before taken this learning-intensive, enterprise-wide approach. Our investigation led to the surprising realization that the city actually creates way more energy than we use. But it also revealed that we could find more value in most of our energy transactions, which begged the question, are we using these assets thoughtfully and to the highest benefit of our citizens? Or could we save money in emissions through a better understanding of our own energy production? These questions launched a 3-year initiative with the goal of optimizing the triple bottom line benefits of all of our resource enterprises. What followed is a data-driven energy strategy that provides the potential to scale up local renewable resources, add efficiency technologies, and other advanced energy infrastructure. And finally, generate many millions of dollars in new economic value within the city. These same energy investments, while financially responsible, can substantially shrink the environmental footprint of Spokane's citizens and businesses. Now, we're able month by month to provide this type of sophisticated analytical decision-making support to all of our city's departments. Perhaps as soon as next month, we hope to bring you a deeper dive into the data and reports that we manage and how this information forms the input for this year's greenhouse gas inventory. The initiative also included a thorough exploration of aggregated net metering and energy self-supply. But ultimately, and together with our partner Avista, we decided that 2 15-year term power purchase agreements were the most mutually beneficial pathway. Next slide. With that bit of background, I'd like to turn it over to Chris Avert for his summary of the Waste to Energy Power Purchase Agreement.
Thanks, Katie. As a refresher, the waste to energy facility utilizes energy within municipal solid waste and converts it to electricity. After deducting the power needed to operate the plant, the excess is currently sold to Avista through our current power purchase agreement, or PPA. The electricity sold to Avista from the facility is enough to power over 11,000 homes. Next slide, please. Our current PPA is a 5-year agreement that is set to expire at the end of 2022. The energy market analysis conducted by Katie's team indicated high volatility in short-term agreements, leading to near-term revenue loss. The optimum revenue is generated by pursuing the maximum term agreement, which in our case is a 15-year PPA that spans from 2023 to 2037. The revenue generated during this agreement is projected to range from $5.6 to $7.5 million annually, compared to our 5-year agreement, which averaged $5.5 million. I'll now turn it over to Seth to provide an overview of the Upriver Dam agreement.
Thank you, Chris and Katie, for that introduction, and thank you, Council, for the opportunity to share with you today. And as you can see, this beautiful picture from our Upriver Dam, it is an integral part of the water department. It adds immense value to our infrastructure and to the customers that we have the honor to serve. The original function of the dam and the dam itself has evolved over the years, incorporating new technologies for water quality and efficiency. The original Crib Dam, its main function, which was constructed in the late 1890s, was to divert river water over water wheels that powered pumps, pushing river water into the early water system. The first hydroelectric powerhouse was constructed in the early 30s or the mid 30s and marked the beginning of our power generation for electric water pumps and selling our excess power to our long-standing partnership with Avista. The power we generate continues to support competitive water rates while generating additional revenue with previous and this power purchase agreement. Next slide. The previous 5-year agreement failed to capture market values and did not include renewable valuation that added revenue to this agreement. Additionally, the 15-year term adds stability to budget planning, and this agreement also includes renewed collaboration efforts, adding value to both parties by favoring pumping during off-peak power demands while protecting water system priorities. And now for a wrap-up, I'll turn it over to our Public Works Director, Marlene Feist.
Yeah, thank you. So, this team's done a lot of work, as you can see. So we're excited to be able to bring these power purchase agreements to Council for your consideration. We really have set out to increase the value that we were getting for our power assets, and we were able to do that with these agreements. Plus, we understand our power assets a lot more than we did a couple of years ago. And I think as we see this environment continue to evolve and change over time, this knowledge is really going to help us. So that's our presentation there. We're sure happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Council questions, Council President Hicks, sorry.
Yeah, so we passed a resolution last year that said any net benefit of these longer contracts we would invest into updating the waste, just on the waste to energy, into the waste to energy to reduce greenhouse gases and do diversions. So I'm wondering, if I recall correctly, our 5-year rate was going to go down. So right now it's 5.5 million, but I'm wondering what the projection would have been if we hadn't been able to go to the 15-year after 2022.
Chris, can you take that one, or?
Yeah, the analysis showed that the 5-year PPA would have provided a price range, I think around $35 a megawatt. We're currently getting paid $54, and the new agreement drops down to $48 before it escalates back up. So there would have been about an $18 megawatt decrease by pursuing a 5-year PPA.
And do you have an annual amount that translates to? I'm just trying to do apples to apples.
Not off the top of my head. It would basically be, probably in dropping from 5.5 million down to 3 million a year in revenue.
Okay, great.
Yeah, so really what we've done a lot of, Council President, thankfully, is avoid what we were anticipating as being a major loss of revenue to the system. So being able to do the 15-year made a big difference than what we were looking at if we had to go with a 5-year at the end of the expiration of the current contract.
Okay. All right, well, I think it's great that we got it, and I just want to, again, call attention to the resolution that said, basically it's going to be the difference between the 3 million, whatever that number really is, and whatever we're going to get, so that we can start investing in the future of the plant.
And Chris has some stuff in his capital plan, too, that you can probably talk about that are already getting.
I will add that we're, the 6-year capital plan, we've added funding just for what you mentioned. And then as we see increased revenues in the outlying years, we'll continue to invest in that and through the capital plan.
Great, thanks.
Thank you. And Councilmember Bingle, you have your hand up.
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to thank Chris. The other day we were able to go out.
We're having trouble hearing you.
Sorry, I don't know what's going on. Can you hear me any better now?
Yeah, talk loud. I'll turn up my volume too.
Okay, well, I just want to thank Chris. We were able to go out there. Nicolette and I were able to go out and tour the waste to energy facility, and I was incredibly impressed with the operation that they have going on out there. I was really encouraged to see that through this process that we do actually significantly reduce our carbon footprint here in the area while providing power for, I believe it was 11,000 homes a day through the process there. And Chris was very generous with his time, asked all the questions, and also it was super cool. And so if anybody hasn't gone out and taken that tour, it's pretty awesome, and I'd recommend you go and do it. But thank you so much, Chris, for all of your time, and I hope you guys continue your good work out there.
We appreciate you coming out and would be happy to facilitate a tour with anyone else, any other council members that want to come out and see the facility.
Great. Any other council members' comments, questions? Okay, I am one of the co-sponsors to bring this out of committee. And Councilmember Stratton, you look eager to co-sponsor with me.
I'm very eager.
Okay.
You got it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for that.
All right, let's move on to number 5, which is Inga Note and Kevin on review of transportation grant opportunities. We have 10 minutes for this. Go ahead.
I think Inga's going to start it off.
We can't hear you, Inga. I think you might be muted.
Inga, we can't hear you.
I'm sorry. I thought I had unmuted. Okay. So I'm going to start it off with the Highway Safety Improvement Program grants, which is a federal program to reduce fatal and serious injury crashes. It comes out every 2 years. Last time we received funding to build pedestrian hybrid beacons at 3 crosswalks on Division, which are in design right now. And that was, I think, a little over $3 million that we received through that call. So it is a data-driven grant. We have to show the collision pattern and how we can correct it based on the data to make application on anything. So we look at the data from the most recent 5 years that WashDOT has aggregated, and then we have 2 sub-programs. We have spot locations and then a system-wide program that we can apply under. So I'm going to show you how we go through and find projects for the spot locations. Once I get the spreadsheet from WashDOT that shows all the collision history, I highlight the fatals and the serious collisions and then sort them by location to see where I can find locations that have 2 or more serious or fatal collisions. And you can see on this one, I'm pointing to a collision pattern at, it says 002 CO Brown, which is the Highway 2 couplet on the Brown side through downtown at Pacific. And we generally have to have at least 2 collisions to even think about applying for an application at that location. So these are the ones that I looked at for spot locations, and I have to do a benefit cost ratio to show that the cost of the project significantly outweighs the societal cost of the collisions. And so I looked at all of these 4, and the top 2 scoring are going to be installing signals at Division and Pacific and Brown and Pacific, which would be a piece of our Pacific Avenue Greenway project. We wouldn't apply for the whole thing, just for the signals, and then apply for another grant to build the rest of it. The other one that could score well is installing signals at Maple and Rowan and Ash and Rowan, which is one that's recently come up as being a little bit of an issue on the north side. So those were the spot locations. Now I'm going to talk about the system-wide. So to do this side of it, we take a look at how crash patterns in Spokane compare to crash patterns throughout the state. And I've circled up at the top where we have 43% of collisions are vulnerable user hit, which is a pedestrian or a bicycle being hit. And so this is 43% of our fatal and serious crashes in the city. And that compares it to city-owned streets statewide. You can see that it's higher. We're at 43, they're at 39. And so that gives us a clue as to something we should be targeting. So we go through and we look at those collision patterns and we try to come up with what we call risk factors, which are basically the characteristics of those locations. And what we find is that we commonly get these types of collisions on arterials with uncontrolled crosswalks, crossing multiple lanes of traffic. Usually there's transit nearby or commercial land use. It's often a neighborhood with low vehicle ownership, and it has a school or park within a quarter mile, and in some cases it's on the bike plan map. So that's how we go through and screen which ones we should look at. So this is the list that I came up with initially that met some of those criteria on the previous slide. And after going through and evaluating all of them, we've narrowed it down to this as our short list for consideration. I'm still going through and looking at some underlying issues on a couple of them, in particular 29th and Fisk, so I need to see if that could be resolved before we can move it forward. and just doing due diligence on all the other locations. But eventually, I'll need to whittle this down to a group of 3 or 4 of these locations, and we'll submit that as our systemic application. So it'll be similar to what we turned in and got funded on division in the last round. And this is the timeline. Been working on this for a few months, and we won't find out until fall which ones we get. Then design and construction will go through about 2023 to 2025. Any questions on this program?
Questions for council, from council? Go ahead, Councilmember Stratton.
Thank you for doing all this work. I will say that we've gotten several calls regarding Wistox Way and some of those areas around there that are that citizens deem dangerous. And there also, from what I understand, there's going to be some senior cottages developed out there. So thank you for taking a look at that area.
Of course.
And if you could stop sharing, then I can see everybody, unless you've got more.
I do not.
Okay. Anybody else have questions? Inga, that was good. It was informative. So I was not aware of all the data that needs to be collected in order to move that forward. So thank you for that. Appreciate it. Okay, Kevin, you're up next with 6-year street plan.
Actually, first I'm going to touch on a kind of second part, a second grant opportunity, and then I'll touch on the 6-year street plan. So similar to what Inga just presented on, we have another grant opportunity. This one is a large one through Spokane Regional Transportation Council. Their periodic call for projects that they do. They do them roughly every 3 to 4 years. The last call for projects was back in 2018. They're still finalizing some of their numbers, but looking at roughly $30 million available for our region, spread over 2024 through 2026. This is all federal funding through USDOT and FHWA. It's dollars that funnel down through WashDOT to SRTC as our local NPO. There's 5 different grant programs, or buckets of money, if you will, that'll fall under this call for projects. And they're doing a unified call, which is what they did back in 2018 as well. All the programs require at a minimum a 13.5% local match. In terms of schedule, the official release of the call for projects is coming up on February 11th. We've seen the draft documents. They've been sharing them through SRTC board meetings as well as the TTC. So we're aware of what the grant program's going to look like. Again, that comes out February 11th. There's an interim deadline or to part of the process here at March 7th, where we have to submit eligibility forms for the projects that we're planning on submitting applications on, and that just allows SRTC staff to look at them, look at the projects, screen them, confirm that they're eligible for at least one, if not all, of the various grant programs in this call. And the final applications will be due April 4th. The tentative schedule calls for the board to approve the grant awards in July this year. This lists the 5 different buckets or different programs under this unified call. The programs all vary. Some are more flexible and pretty much allow for any transportation type project that we might normally do. Others are more focused either on bike pedestrian or, in the case of CMAQ, on congestion relief and reducing emissions. And in terms of the scoring criteria, this is established by SRTC staff in concert with the board and the TTC subcommittees. But you see the 6 general categories that are included in the application. They assign 50 points to each category. Within each of these categories, there's 2 to 7 subcategories where the actual scoring occurs. Looking at everything from, is a project on a transit route, what are the traffic volumes, proximity to employment centers and activity centers and parks, partnerships with STA and other entities. So there's a variety of categories that are used. So it all adds up. There are 6 categories at 50 points each, adds up to 300. So knowing those categories and that criteria, we've looked at a a long list of projects and come up with at least an initial cut of projects that we are considering for application. So moving into that list, I got 2 slides here. There's 18 projects total on these 2 slides. We do not anticipate spending 18 applications. We want to narrow it down. We don't have a firm number, but we're targeting trying to keep it to 15 if we can. I've listed these titles here just as a kind of general categorization of type of projects. Most of the projects are in our existing Secure Streets Capital Improvement Program. So we want to apply for a mix of projects that check the different boxes in those different 5 different funding buckets that I displayed earlier. We want to put our best foot forward and do the best that we can to come up with some projects that will be eligible in each of those different categories. So we have some of our traditional large reconstruction or rebuild type projects, again, all from our capital program. The second group here is also, reconstruction focused mainly, those first 2, but tend to have more of a freight and industrial element to them. Then we have our larger regional trail projects as well. On the second page of the list, our intersection capacity improving projects. Those are in our impact fee category. Those are projects that kind of check that box for the CMAQ or Congestion Mitigation Air Quality Program. They qualify well for that type of a program. Then this one bridge project is a request and a collaboration with our Parks Department for repairs to the King Cole Wood Bridge in Riverfront Park, which is part of the Centennial Trail route. And then the final grouping there is what I'm labeling there is our bike ped, safety, and active transportation type projects. And again, we want to screen this down to a little bit shorter list. Still going to be a heavy lift of roughly 15 applications that we anticipate submitting. And then this map just depicts and lists where the projects on that list are located within the city. So we got a mix. Naturally, we have a lot in our downtown core and on North Bank. Several projects in northeast Spokane, a couple in south and northwest, and then a few on more towards the west plains. So I do have one other project I want to bring up, but before I do that, I think I'll pause here real quick and see if there's any questions that I can answer.
Any questions for Kevin? I can't see you all. I can only see Councilmember Stratton and Councilman.
Yeah, Councilman Kinnear, this is Councilmember Cathcart. Question for you, Kevin. So 2 things. One is for whichever of these projects advance, and I'm assuming not all of them will, do we have the matching funds already available to basically make that down payment, the minimum of 13% that you mentioned at the beginning? Is that available?
That is, let me answer that real quick for you, Kevin. Catherine Miller, Director of Integrated Capital Management. The match is a question on a few of them. For example, the Wellesley, the number 6 on the map. We will need to work with the Public Development Authority Board, the Northeast Public Development Authority Board, to make sure they do have match to
well, that's my concern, Catherine, because we don't have the money, and this was a big focus of frustration when we had the allocation from Congress before they took away the earmark, and we didn't have the matching funds. The city was going to look to try and identify those matching funds. The NEPDA is not flush with cash, and so, but we need to get this project done. Like, this is a very high priority project, and we've got to get it done. So that's why I was asking the question, because I want to make sure that we don't lose the opportunity to get that project done in the NEPDA, simply because we've had 2 years of COVID and an inability to get employers relocating in the NEPDA.
And you're actually bringing up the PDAs in general, and item number 9 today will be going into more detail on some of the requirements of PDAs. And just as a quick comment, PDAs are, all 3 of them are required to bring in their own matching piece. So I agree, this is a kind of a hard catch-22, but we wanted to make this available in terms of we feel it could be a very eligible project in terms of competitiveness. It is in our 6-year program. Council has effectively, in the past, obviously accepted this in for us to chase money, and so we felt we needed to bring this forward for the conversation.
Well, let me just add, I think we're actually in a great position because, one of the many things I put forward for our ARP expenditures is support for the NEPDA, and we can use revenue replacement dollars with maximum flexibility, and we could, I believe, use those dollars towards a match. And so I just continue to beat the drum, money support for the NEPDA, and then we can do really important projects like this. The second question I had is Havana. Have we just given up all legal efforts over the Havana situation, and we've decided that we're just going to pay the bill? I'm just curious if we're still exploring any avenues to do this jointly with the valley or the county, rather than them kind of thrusting this upon us.
Are you talking about number 5, just to be clear? In terms of
yes.
Okay, just want to make sure. So this is actually located out there by our regional fairgrounds in terms of the roadway. We certainly would like more partners, just because it is on the edge of our city, and as a regional facility like the fairgrounds, we certainly have a regional draw to the area. But what it comes down to is it is officially, effectively city right-of-way, and it is ours in terms of responsibility to maintain.
But do we have to maintain it right now? I mean, I guess what I'm asking is, if we've got other priorities, does this have to come to the top of our priority list when really the true benefit is not to the city, it's to our neighbors, which, certainly that's the case.
Sure. Some background on that particular project. It was in our selection matrix for full rebuild projects. Kevin had an opportunity on Thursday to talk to council through study session just about how projects come into the program. And it was the Transportation Subcommittee that went through the list, and the roadway does score high for several factors, and the deliberations that occurred at that time was because of the economics of the fairgrounds. The subcommittee felt like it was a project that should move forward for their recommendation. So Kevin will have to remind me how long ago it went in the program, but it has been in the program for several cycles now, looking for opportunities. And again, that's why we felt anything in the program should be our priorities to bring to the conversation.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Kevin? Go ahead.
This is Brian. And the Councilmember Cathcart brings up kind of a drum that I also bang on, which is, so this is great work but as you go from these, 18 projects and you narrow it down, what I'm still trying to figure out is how does council weigh in, just like on Councilmember Cathcart's point, on either putting Havana lower, putting Wellesley higher. I'm trying to figure out how can we, in a measurable way, impact that final prioritization piece.
Right. And again, back to the specific issues around Wellesley, it is the match conversation we do need to get through. That is a stumbling block. When we talk about 15 applications versus 18, I mean, we certainly can put 3 more through the process. It obviously is still a competitive process. So when we talk about projects that have been in the program that have existing money in terms of other grants that we've already been able to obtain, that by its nature is a more competitive project, because we're coming to that same funding agency and saying, effectively, you gave us the initial funding and now we're coming back for the second round. It makes no sense for a funding agency to not accept a project that they've already effectively accepted. So we see projects like that to be highly competitive in terms of getting those funds. And we can certainly give council a highlighted list of the projects on this 1 through 18 that are currently in the program and currently have some other grant funding already in the mix to help kind of see some of those patterns.
I think, I'm just speaking for myself, but my sense from talking to council is to the degree that these are going to be prioritized in the application process of what we're most interested in, I think we'd like a touch on it to say we agree, or we would shift, maybe spot 3 to spot 2 or something like that, and have that.
Sure. So when we talk about prioritization, it's just a matter of us giving SRTC in this example our full list of projects. They're the ones that will prioritize and ultimately select which ones get funded, and obviously that goes to the board for final decision.
So for this one, and I might be mixing up programs, for this one, we would send in all 18 and they'll prioritize, or are we narrowing it down? So
we were looking to narrow it down by 3, removing 3 of these,
okay.
Just depending on, for example, if we can't come up with the solution on Wellesley, that would be one off the list. If there are any other kind of technical aspects that Kevin's looking at that we feel make it pretty low for eligibility from, again, we're trying to channel the SRTC process and what we expect to see for outcomes. We've been pretty good at honing that ability to look at those scoring capabilities and going through the process of selecting projects we feel are going to be very competitive, but keeping in mind that we are going to be then competing against all of the other agencies in this area for what they feel is their most important projects as well. So no guarantees that we're going to get a significant portion off of this list, depending on how it plays out.
I totally get it. I guess it would be great before it gets submitted that we get maybe one more touch on the which 3 go off, because we might be able to say, you know what, we're going to take money that we would have otherwise spent on Havana and we want to spend it on Wellesley instead. So, I mean, and I don't know if that's possible, but those are the sort of things that we'd love to be part of when it comes down to it.
We certainly will come back with if they're the 3 what we're, like I said.
Okay.
Okay, so we have time for one more question.
All right. I'm done. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? And I can't see you all.
Councilmember Kinnear, I was just going to ask if they had mentioned there may be some other funding already attached to some of these programs that give them more weight. So if that's possible to share when we have the next touch on that, that would be helpful for me.
We can email that out to council as a basically that list you see in the upper left hand. We can give you a list like that and show you what we're looking at for existing funding.
Yeah,
from outside agencies.
Yeah, there's 4 projects on the list that we have design money for already. I did have one last kind of unique project we wanted to touch on. I'll turn it back over to Inga to discuss Meadow Lane J-turn a little bit.
And actually, Council President, this is that very example that we were wondering if Council was interested in the project that Inga's about to talk about.
Yeah, we did not have this on the list initially, but given the conversations that have happened in the last couple of weeks, thought we should bring it up to this group and see if you do have interest in pursuing this as one of the projects on the list as well. We do have an existing collision pattern out there at Meadow Lane. You may recall that the Thorpe Road and 195 intersection, where we now have the J-turns, had a very significant crash pattern where we had fatalities before the J-turns got installed. And this one is on its way to being that direction with the growth in traffic volume. So we do have a reason to correct it just based on the crash history, but it also is on our impact fee list. It would allow a couple of smaller developments to move forward if it was selected and slated for funding. And as an option, we could look at maybe even expanding to do a half J-turn at Hatch if the finances worked.
So I have before I turn it over to the council, have you been coordinating with WashDOT at all so that, because they are very interested in this as well, as you know, should we be looking at matching funds from them for this, and then it would not take away from other projects that are on the list?
I don't know, Catherine, you can jump in if you want, but I believe if we were to move this forward, the matching funds would come from our impact fee program, and WashDOT would likely be the lead on the design. Otherwise, it will get constructed by the developers in the area. It is complicated for them to put together a development agreement, though, given all of the complexities with utilities and transportation requirements that each individual project has to meet.
Okay, this is probably a conversation for more time. I know Councilmember Wilkerson's probably interested in Biggs as well, so we might need to just meet with you separately on this.
That sounds good.
Okay. Kevin, let's go on to the 6-year. And this, remember, we've already touched on this, Council, so he's just doing a quick touch just to make sure we don't have any lingering questions.
Yes, thank you. I'll make this brief. We did have the kickoff kind of study session last week. This is the more sort of official or formal kickoff. Just giving the heads up that our program is, that annual update is starting. Kind of shared this slide with you last week. You know, the 6-year program is where we implement the comprehensive plan goals, and we're required to do it, an annual update prior to July 1st, have that updated program. So that's why we're always a little bit earlier than the rest of the capital programs in the city. And then just a preview, my intent is to take a deeper dive into the discussion of new projects going into the program at our next study session, which is February 10th. But just a quick overview is 11 new projects on our draft list to go into the program. The bulk of those 10 are a result of recent grant awards from grants that we applied for over the last couple of years that were awarded during 2021. And again, we can discuss those projects in more detail at the study session. And then just big picture, our overall 6-year program update schedule. Highlighted bullets are the touch points with City Council. In between, we have 3 touches each with PCTS and the Plan Commission, ultimately leading to a hearing and council adoption of the program in June. So again, that's a quick touch. We're definitely intend to dive deeper into the program in our next study session. So any questions?
I have a quick question, Brian, here. It sounds like some of the times we put things on the 6-year plan so that we can then chase grant money, and then sometimes we put things on the 6-year plan after we get grant money, so we haven't put it on, but we do. I'm trying to, is there any like big picture logic of how projects go in either that
Let me jump into that real quick. You're correct. When we have things that come onto the program through our subcommittee, the Transportation Subcommittee, that is based on that prioritization matrix, and when there is a room, if you will, to fill up more capacity in the 6 years, because we don't want to put 50 projects in 1 year because we know we don't get that kind of cash from our grant writing. So that's how those full depth projects come into the program. When we talk about ones that just appear, I'm sorry, let me step back. Once we select them from the selection committee, that is our focus. We get it into the program, it shows up in year 6, and as it's coming towards us, we're looking for opportunities that will fit that project through those 6 years. The ones that just, when you're kind of indicated, appear, those are the ones that are data-driven, like the ones you just heard Inga talk about. Because if we had a prioritization of PED projects for safety as a prioritization and had it solid and stagnant, we would never be able to keep up with the current data that we have to justify the project with. And so projects that are basically PED and bike related, you're seeing those come through just like you saw Inga present to you. That's that decision point in terms of you like that project or you don't want us to pursue it. But at the end of the day, it's data driven and we really don't have a choice in terms of how they want to see the projects come in and how they want to prioritize safety. When we talk about back to the matrix, and that's the conversation we had with council last year. If you do not like how those projects are being prioritized, if you feel like we've selected in a wrong way, we wanted to open up that conversation and reprioritize projects in a different way if that's what's needed. And that's why you saw us last year and the year before go through with council and give the presentations on how projects are selected through the matrix, drawing back to the comprehensive plan, filling out all of those different kind of categories within the comp plan, and again, putting projects through those filters to come up with a prioritization. And then the subcommittee's job is to look at the next project on the list and have that conversation. And to pull in really quick back to Havana, there was actually a project that scored, I'm just going to make these numbers up, literally 25, and Havana scored 26. So theoretically, the lower number should have gone first. But it was the subcommittee's deliberation about the economics of the fairgrounds that pushed them to say it makes sense to reach one down and pick that up. It's not intended to reach 50 down and pick something up, but it's that deliberation which we felt was pretty healthy with the committee to look at those ones right around it. So when we talk about council, which ones to affect, it's really when brand new rebuild projects come into the program, if that's the one above and the one below, if that makes the most sense.
And I can remember when we elevated the Freya to this list because of the importance of Freya to development in Northeast. And it wasn't on the list, and we added more criteria to make it, to fit it in. So I would urge all council members just take a hard look at all of these and see if they meet your expectations. And if you have further questions, contact Kevin or Catherine and ask, because these are really important. And this is stuff that you can really dig into and find some answers if you have questions. Okay, so Kevin, go ahead. What were you going to say?
Just real quick. As Catherine mentioned, we'll take a closer look at that prioritization list of the reconstruction projects at the study session next week. To Catherine's point, you can see where we dropped down a couple projects to pull some up. So we'll go into the details of that, and then also go into the details of these new projects going on in the program, and we'll help answer some of these questions. So, thank you for your time.
Thanks so much. I appreciate your time. We're going to move on to Kyle. Is Kyle here?
I am. How are you?
Oh, there he is. Hello. So, Kyle, you're going to do a update of our 2022 construction season and what it looks like and all the wonderful things you're going to get done for the city.
Absolutely. And forgive me, I'll have to motor mouth through this a little bit for us to stay on track for time. I have a lot of slides to rip through, so I'll be moving a little quickly. If you want to interrupt me or we can go back to anything at the end, I'd be happy to. So I'll do a couple little recaps of just some big projects from 2021. We finally finished up what we've kind of had planned out thus far in the Sprague corridor with Sprague Avenue 2B, and then had that really cool addition to the Centennial Trail over in the West Central neighborhood. So Sprague 2B here was from Grant to Division, and that's that new 3-lane section, all new building face to building face facades with lighting and curb bump outs and trees and planters, and really just that kind of last piece of that corridor. We've pretty much touched every piece of asphalt from Division all the way to Altamont now, and it's really cool to be, ready to give everybody out there a break, and everybody gets to enjoy the transformation of this corridor over here. As you can see, there's still, all the protected parking that community wanted, the 3-lane, turn lane, and we did position those STA high performance stops right at that transition between the 4-lane section and the 3-lane section, such that there is space for cars to not get pinned behind the bus in the travel lane. We also did this really cool piece of the Centennial Trail. This goes from Boone all the way up to the top of Pettit or Doomsday Hill. And if you haven't been out there yet to see it, it really is special. The views are just spectacular. This is a completely unimproved part of the Centennial Trail, and it's seeing a ton of use already. It's very, very cool to have this new addition with a separated pathway. And so now you've got a separated Centennial Trail pathway all the way from that area at the top of Pettit Hill, at Brinkley all the way to the bottom of it, and right into downtown on a separated, dedicated pathway. We've got some carryover work still coming on, still left over from last year. The Post Street Bridge is the most notable, as well as the landslide area in the South Coast Trail. And then a few other small projects we're finishing up from last year. Post Street Bridge is going to continue all this year. We're just still getting to the back end of the bolstering or the reinforcement of the historic arches. Next, we'll be moving into that new 60-inch sewer line that's going to be installed on the bridge, and then we can start heading into bridge deck construction and divert the sewer flow over from the old line to the new one. So there you can see the work platforms off it and all that steel on the side of the bridge where we're reinforcing those arches. We're moving really fast on the landslide remediation. All the soil nails are in, and the retaining walls around 60% completed down at the base of the hill. Once that's in place, we'll actually be digging in Clark Avenue right there, as we do have a bunch of infrastructure as a part of the South Gorge Trail project there but we've made a ton of progress over the winter, and it's moving along very nicely. And we'll get this whole thing wrapped up this spring. But the landslide is stable, the soil nails are in, and the wall and the remediation is finishing up here. But we'll be done with the wall in February. So that puts us in a much better place moving forward into the year. Here you can kind of see this is during the soil nail installation and some of the protective erosion matting up on the hillside. That sewer line that was broken in the process is getting routed down as well, and it'll go out under the wall and connect into Clark Avenue. Piece of the Cochrane Stormwater project here through the golf course that was completed in the fall. We just have a bunch of restoration left to do. I'll talk much more about the Cochrane Basin projects later in the presentation. And then we've got a couple of small projects we're finishing up here. Most of these are parts delays. All right, into 2022, we have another big year. It's about $20 million in ongoing work. That's mostly the Post Street Bridge. We're going to put another $80 million roughly out in new construction. And some of the highlights would be Riverside, the Thor Freya couplet, all the Cochrane Basin projects, and a whole lot of asphalt maintenance. So, and we also have a bunch of ped improvements too. I'll have them all listed at the end here. On the kind of big street projects here, here's a list of some of the bigger ones. A couple of reconstructions, but it's mostly a lot of grind and overlay work. We've got 2 years worth of our unpaved roads program that'll be coming out this year, and then our typical chip seals and some grind and overlays. The big Thor Freya project goes from Hartson to Sprague. It's going to be a monster. It's a full rebuild. We're putting it back in concrete, and it's definitely going to be impactful as we move everybody from one side to the other. The 2nd and 3rd Avenue intersections do get postponed until next year, as there was some coordination with the NSC that had to take place. So those kind of got pulled out of the project, and we'll complete those next year. The street out there is in really bad disrepair. Even the area, some of it doesn't look too bad. That's because we actually did put a skin of asphalt on them, like a little micro overlay a few years back, just to hold them together until we could get to this project. But the structure's completely blown out. What's great is once we get through the challenge of this year, that street will be in concrete, and we shouldn't have to touch it again in our lifetimes. Well, at least not rebuild it. We might do a little bit of maintenance. Riverside Avenue Grind and Overlay, that's our big downtown project. The full limits go from Monroe all the way to Division, but really the construction part of it is just wall to Division. We're restriping it to a 3-lane section and putting in bike lanes, and that is the full Monroe to Division. So that Monroe to Wall area is just a restriping project, and Wall to Division is a rebuild. We do have a full water main to do throughout that, and we're building STA stops. We're doing the ones on the south side of the street. STA is doing the Central City Line ones on the north side. That's because they were federally funded, and we didn't want to get that into the mix of this project here. So they're finishing out. They started in the fall. They're finishing up this spring, and then we'll come in right in May. The street, as you've seen out there, is in very rough condition. It'll be good to get a new surface on that, replace a early 1900s water main, and then put in that change from that 4-lane section to the new 3-lane. Here's a rendering of what it is going to look like. There's a little too much green paint on this. That's mostly going to be focused at where the pedestrian and vehicle conflict areas are. Sorry, bike and vehicle conflict areas are. We're not going to actually have green the whole run of it, but there will be a lot of green paint out there. One of the other cool things about it is the bike lanes go behind the STA stops, which was something that came out of the whole scoping exercise here for additional protection to get around the bus loading areas. That's kind of a street level rendering of what it might look like. Again, I don't want to sell too much green out there, but there will be a good amount of green paint, particularly where we have chances of conflict. We've got a grind and overlay on Monroe Street. Avista has been out doing some advanced work with that this past year. This is a standard grind and overlay out there from Boone to the bridge. Road just needs some TLC out there. The Wellesley Market intersection, this is a big project with the NSC. We're taking that out to 5 lanes, doing some slip lanes to the area related to the freeway, and putting it into concrete as well with some signal modifications. So this is that area out there, so you can start seeing the bigger turn pockets, that 5-lane section, and you see those slip lanes off of Market, both onto and off of Wellesley, where the on-ramps will be. And The whole intersection gets lowered because it's got to connect with the new elevation. They had to lower the whole area of Wellesley underneath the new railroad bridge. The railroad bridge is rebuilt, but at the same height, so everything underneath it goes down to create better clearance and a safer area out there. The Illinois Grind and Overlay, so that is just a pavement project, but it's got all that really cool stuff. I think you've heard Kevin talk about it this winter, where we'll be putting in that new 12-foot shared use path based on all that great community engagement the capital team did. And that it's going to be a raised median separating all that while also keeping the parking on the side. I've got a good rendering of that. This is a section where you can see that 12-way, two-way cycle track, 12-foot, 3-foot raised median, but we keep the parking on the whole side. This is Illinois, basically kind of above a vista and running the whole length out there. And it's going to be, I think, a really, really cool addition. This is such a cool area. We're still looking for opportunities to add some additional greenscape, but we know this project is going to be moving forward. This is
hey, Kyle.
Yes, sir.
Can I interrupt you real quick?
Absolutely.
Do you know where we landed on those outlooks on Illinois, and then do you know when the Illinois project will likely be completed?
I think no and yes. Where we landed on the outlooks, I think that is still in. I don't know the status of that, frankly. Okay. We know where we're moving with the street project here, and we're planning on delivering it this year. It'll be a late season project. My team hasn't picked it up yet, and I do believe it's still in the outlooks themselves are still a discussion with the capital team. I don't know exactly where they are. If Kevin or Catherine have an update on that, they might still be on. Otherwise, we can get back to you on that.
Okay, thank you.
Looks like Kevin's right there.
Yeah, I think we're waiting on a council decision on whether to fund the overlooks or not, whether it be through traffic calming dollars or otherwise. But
can you fund them at a different time? So can you design them and then fund them later?
Yes, they could. They don't have to get built with this project. What set it up such that they could be built at a later date if needed.
Yeah, and I'd run some irrigation and stuff out to them just in case, sort of whatever we wanted to plant out there. So those types of things we can do if that is a future state thing.
Yep.
So this is a potential project here. I know there's some discussions going on about whether or not this will get funded or exactly what the street selections are. This is just a tentative list of some of these potential business areas that would be added to a grind and overlay package my team would put out later this year. These were some proposed streets for this. I understand there's some continuing discussion here, but if it went, we would deliver a suite of streets that are impacting businesses that would just get a grind and overlay treatment that wouldn't fall into any of our other programs. Here's just a quick list of the street department maintenance schedule, just so you can also see some of the streets that they'll be attacking this year. This is outside of this is outside of my group. We don't put this out under contract. This is what the team will be delivering, but just kind of also just wanted to show you just how much great work is going to go on out there. We're touching a lot of areas of the city, really going to be improving a lot of the streets. That 15 million number there, that's not including any of those big projects like Riverside and Fort Frere. That's really just a bunch of grind and overlays and chip seals and residential chip seal. And we doubling up of the unpaved streets program because it didn't go last year. So we'll be all over the place this year. That's just streets. So this is just all the street work going on. When we get into, we have a couple of bridge projects this year. The Hatch Bridge deck replacement, this is just a deck replacement. The structure's in good shape, but we do have to close the bridge in order to rebuild this deck. We are going to be able to put in a little bit more of a slip lane for folks that are headed northbound towards town, but otherwise it's just a redecking project. Now we get into what's near and dear to my heart, which is the Cochrane Basin. For those of you that haven't been around, most of us have been, well, Cochrane Basin is a topic of discussion for many years, but for those of us that were really pushing hard on the CSO program, Cochrane was always kind of dreamt as a big part of the CSO program when we're just thinking about cleaning up our river. It just took us a lot longer to get the funding put together. I want to say we have about 6 combined projects, maybe 7, and 11 different funding sources we put together to control all this untreated flow that currently goes directly to the Spokane River. Now, this is separated stormwater. It's not combined sewer and stormwater, but it isn't getting an appropriate level of treatment before going straight to the river. So here's kind of the broader map of it all. We've got most of the piping comes in right there at that Northwest Boulevard TJ Menock area. And so a lot of this is going to get conveyed down to where the current disc golf course is. That'll be one of the next projects to come out this year. We already did that golf course conveyance project. The Cleveland project has already been awarded. So we'll be coming out with the TJ Menock component. We're replacing a siphon and then 2 big stormwater treatment facilities. And this is going to take all that water that would normally go directly to the river and make sure it goes through proper infiltration and treatment before recharging basically the river and the aquifer in the same zone. So it's a really, really great environmental impact here. We'll have a couple of improvements to the recreational access and the parking. We will be rebuilding that disc golf course with the aid of a professional disc golf designer and just trying to make those access points a little bit better and again, really get that great environmental benefit. So this is the Cleveland Avenue portion of the pipe. This has already been awarded and this will be going right away this spring. That's the yellow line or orange line, whichever level of color blindness you're at. I can't tell on this map right there. The treatment facilities, that's both the disc golf course and a big treatment facility on the downstream side of the TJ Menock Bridge. And there's a parking lot there. We'll be rebuilding that and putting in a big infiltration facility. So you can kind of see those 2 facilities. We're going to put them together as a single package. One's a net fill, one's import, one's export, so it'll help balance the. We've got a control facility up there near that IO3, which was a big tank we installed for the CSO system up there. We're going to put a small control facility up there. That'll also be going in late this year, potentially at the beginning. I think we'll get that started late this year. And then the TJ Menock actual street project, which has a lot of piping in it, pretty much everything under the sun. And that's going to be going throughout this whole year. This is another grant-funded project. So it's got the 48-inch stormwater overflow. It's going to have this, we're building a siphon adjacent to, we just approved the material pre-order for that siphon. It's a 60-inch siphon that connects our interceptor across the hillside there. And some infiltration facilities and a nice new pedestrian facility on the side there. This is just that quick little detour. We'll take people up Pettit Drive over to Maple and Ash because TJ Menock is going to be closed for a lot of the year. We have several water projects going. The high system, the one on the South Hill we've been talking about, we're going to end up waiting until 2023 on that one, but we will be building that reservoir out at the airport, some transmission lines, some stuff over for the MSC near Trent, as well as the Havana well pump station, which is our new well down at 6th and Havana, and rehabbing the Hoffman well. That SIA reservoir is a big elevated tank. It's going to look like that picture on the right, but it'll be painted like the Purina can on the left. And that's going to get started here right away this spring. That's going to be one of the larger ones in our system that's elevated. We've got a transmission line that's going to connect this new Plain System booster station to that tank as well, and then the booster station itself. And a couple of sanitary sewer projects, a lift station upgrade. This Holland Sewer project actually gets rid of a lift station for us. We're very excited about that. We've had a really challenging time with that lift station, and rather than replace it, we're working on a deal with the county such that we can key into their gravity lines and get rid of ours. We will do some pipe rehabilitation with the CIPP project and some force main replacement up on Sundance. And pedestrian safety projects, we've got the sidewalk on North River Drive. We awarded that late last year, didn't have time to get it done, so we'll get that out this year. That's that piece of sidewalk that connects from Division right to the new entry to Riverfront Park. And Streets is going to also improve the pavement out there as well. And we have a laundry list of school pedestrian safety projects. We've got our traffic calming, school safety. We've got the Division hybrid beacons. And then these last 5 or so Ingrid had touched on, we got these via a late grant cycle at the end of the biennium for additional, these are pedestrian hybrid beacons, pathways, sidewalks, and more. So a lot of this work will come out late, especially those last few projects, because we're a little behind the timeline on those, but we'll get them all done and meet our grant deadline. If there's any additional information you need, you can always reach out to me, and I'll find the information and get it wrapped up for you. Any questions?
Wow, that was amazing. You just zipped right through that. Questions from council? Anybody? Great. That was overwhelming. So we're still kind of processing that. Thank you. Appreciate it. And if you have further questions for Kyle or Catherine, please ask them and offline. And if you do get information you think would be beneficial to the rest of the council, please copy some of us on it. So thank you, Kyle. And next up we have Catherine talking about fluoridation contract status update, and then you're going to go into the West Plains PDA utilities discussion, and I will need somebody else to sponsor the fluoridation contract coming out of this committee. But Catherine, why don't you go ahead?
Sure. So thank you, Councilmember Kinnear. The fluoridation contract is going to be in front of council on February 6th for a briefing, and then council action on February 13th. We do have a draft contract I'll be putting into the agenda cycle so you can take a look at it. As you recall, the purpose of the fluoridation study analysis is going to look at what the total cost is to implement fluoridating the water system. So it's going to be a highly technical study in the sense of looking at all of the different ways we can inject fluoridation into the water system. We, of course, have several different locations for our wells that we will have to look at. Each well station has its own configuration in terms of age of facility, layout that we'll have to look at individually to understand what it'll take for that particular one. So we have 7 different locations to look at, and once we understand the type of system we're going to use, then we can get into the actual designing for each of those 7 different locations, how to go through and implement it. We're going to take it up to about a 30% design. What that means is we'll do actual design work to understand what the costs will be. Instead of doing an estimate without details, we felt that wouldn't give council and administration a depth of understanding of what those costs are going to be. So we'll go through that full workload to get that. We'll also take it through a non-project SEPA. Projects would go through SEPA through any kind of project that would go forward would go through SEPA. So as a non-project, it allows the community to participate, since it really is going to be very focused again on the technical side. We're not going to have necessarily any public meetings out there in terms of it's not a conversation other than within the technical sense of, again, the type of system being used. And really what we're delivering is a cost. So that's a cost not only to how to construct, but how to maintain and run it. It'll also include all the costs for any kind of special training or any of those, again, ancillary costs that would have to be involved to fulfill, again, that concept of what it takes to put fluoridation into our water system. So it'll be pretty in-depth that way. We're happy to keep council informed in terms of the process. We're going to be going out to different communities that currently use fluoridation in their systems to look at their type of system that they're using. So our operators can get a really good hands-on look at the different ways to work with the material. And of course, all the safety and handling things that we need to understand before we come to a final selection. So that in a high clip view is what's going to be coming towards council as the contract. As you recall, we had $600,000 for the study. This contract is coming just under $600,000 for all the elements that we need to come up with to, again, deliver that dollar amount for your next deliberation processes.
Questions? Go ahead, Councilmember Cathcart.
Yeah, what's the timeline, I guess, for the completion of this analysis?
We're looking at 18 months from the start of the notice to proceed. So obviously once council has action, we get all the contracts signed, and then we give out the notice to proceed.
And is the firm that we're contracting with to do this work, is this what they do typically, or is this kind of a new thing for them?
It's not a new thing for them. They have a very deep team in terms of the person that's leading the discussion on the types of fluoridation systems to use. This person has been involved in other installations across the country in terms of his depth of knowledge.
Okay, thank you.
We, just for those council members that weren't around when we came to council and just gave an update previously, we put it out for an RFQ, which is a request for qualifications in terms of to get hire a qualified consulting firm. We received one submittal, and after going through it, we felt that that was a qualified candidate to move forward with. The one caveat I just need to mention real quick from our purchasing agency, our purchasing department, they just wanted to make clear that, Council President, you were obviously on the selection committee, and because it's a decision on the contract, there were no other consultants on there, so it's just, I think, more of a formality from purchasing, but they were requesting that you recuse yourself from the actual contract approval since you were on the selection committee itself. But other than that, I don't have any further comments on that.
Council President, did you have more to say?
Two things. One, I also think some of the principals at the firm also are experienced with our particular water system as well.
Oh, very much so.
If I recall, they totally know Spokane's water system.
Yeah. Larry Smith is very much so.
Yeah. What I wanted to just add is that when the mayor and council negotiated with Ancora to get the $600,000, we don't have to pay that back, I agreed to sponsor a resolution that would propose that council do public engagement after the study comes back and have discussion about the findings of the study. I've had that drafted waiting, but I guess I wasn't 100% clear of when this was coming forward, but I will get that filed as well because that was the agreement I had with the mayor that we would consider the contract and the resolution committing council to public engagement with the studies afterwards. So I just want to give people a heads up that's coming. You'll see that shortly.
And Council President, we built in an extra week. If you do need us to postpone by a week, we're happy to do that as well.
I think it'll be fine. I just wanted to let people know in case they were wondering about that.
Okay.
Okay, Councilmember Zappone, do you want to co-sponsor this with me so we can take it out of committee?
I'll do that.
Thank you. Okay, Catherine, do you want to keep going? This is your last one.
Let me get you to the last piece. So it's my understanding you will be working with scheduling a joint meeting with the West Plains Public Development Authority, the West Plains PDA as we call it. And I gave this presentation to the PDA in December, and I just thought that council might be interested in taking a quick look at some of, again, I mentioned earlier, some of the requirements PDAs have. So this is actually applying to all PDAs, but we were just sharing specifically with West Plains in December. What we were trying to do is just build awareness of the planned investments that were going on before the PDA was established. We also did an overview of existing and future development and a quick discussion of future developments. I'm not going to go through the whole presentation because I know we've gone long on time today, but I just want to do some highlights, again, just for background and understanding. In West Plains, we were just highlighting, obviously, the PDA authority boundaries, which encompasses entirely the city of Spokane, and it also includes a portion of Spokane County. So just pointing that out to them in terms of, from our perspective, it's in our entire city out there. We just wanted to show them as well that the future build-out is pretty extensive in terms of the amount of acreages that we have out there over the next 5-10 years plus in terms of how we're looking for development. I shared with them just our retail service area. That's where properties within the retail service area have the ability to obtain water service from the city of Spokane without any process because the retail area has already been established for their area. And what I was trying to establish with the PDA is obviously, again, the PDA it has some areas that are actually outside of some of the retail service areas. So my point to them was, if they're trying to develop in this area, it will probably take them a little bit longer because there's a lot of process involved to moving that blue line out than it is to work within this area. So the concept was obviously focused within the area within the retail service area. It's more related to a turnkey process than trying to work in areas in the PDA, but outside the retail service area. We also showed them the sewer service area, which is in the yellow, which extends, again, well beyond the PDA area, which is in the purple area, into other parts of the county. Also just reflected back to them the types of land use we have out there, and Council has seen over I would say the last couple of years, you've seen requests for changing land use designations from the industrial area, which is in the gray, to more of the general commercial. So we're seeing a lot of activity on Highway 2, and you're seeing a lot of, over time, requests to flex that industrial into that commercial as they're building that area out. This image was just to reflect that we obviously have a 50-year in terms of our planning horizons, are 6 years for implementation, 20 years for the facility planning, but obviously we have pipes that are made out of ductile iron that last for over 100 years, and so just pointing out that over the long term there's a lot that will likely happen in the next 50 years. I needed to stop with the PDA and just give them a quick one-on-one with just what typical developers are required to do, and the PDA is effectively acting as a developer in the sense that their desire is to have as much property kind of ready for development in that turnkey scenario. And just reminding them, when we talk about requirements for development, they are really required to do a lot of the infrastructure in terms of building 3/4 of the roadway when it's adjacent to their property, placing new water lines and booster stations and storage tanks. And so if a developer came into the West Plains without the PDA, these are the things we were requiring individual developers to do as they go through. And the one highlight here is, requiring, when we do ask a developer to address a water or sewer issue, we can only ask them to deal with what their needs are. And that's kind of a piecemeal approach when you're really trying as a full PDA to look holistically. And so that really came into what the PDA's mission is about. And paraphrasing it, of course, is having those properties in that development-ready state, having that nimble ability to respond to opportunities. And what I mean by that is our taxes that are generated in that area stay with the PDA. So they actually control taxes that would have historically gone back into the city's kind of general coffers. And of course, we have a lot of different prioritizations that the city has as a whole, and this carves out that money and allows the PDAs to make decisions and react quickly to what's going on out there for development. And again, I'm just going to repeat that the controlling that tax revenue, I think, is a very important factor for a PDA to be nimble and to be able to have that response time for the needs that they're trying to affect. It also allows the PDA, obviously, to have a plan, a strategy, and to be able to plan for sewer, water, streets in a regional sense and be able to utilize their monies that they're generating out there as match and as part of their own funding plan. So I was encouraged that long strategic term funding plan crafted by the PDA, obviously acknowledged by City Council and Administration, providing those system-wide solutions is really that ultimate goal we're trying to get to at the PDA. My department, Integrated Capital Management, is working closely with all of the PDAs in terms of supporting them, helping answer any questions they have in terms of going through the process of developing those strategies. We're on their studies when they have them in terms of helping facilitate any information we can deliver. But we are asking, again, the PDAs as their standalone efforts to be the ones actually filling out those applications in close coordination with us. We do the final QC. We actually do the final submittal, but we actually are just helping them in the background in terms of making sure it comes through. You've seen on council, the PDAs coming to you and asking to get projects into the program. You've seen them come and talk about some of their early strategies in the past. We just went through, again, some of their funding strategies, obviously looking at federal and state loans. Impact fees are not currently set up in PDAs. GFCs and impact fees, those types of extra fees have been waived in the PDAs, so it was encouraging the PDA to reconsider and have some thoughts about how else to bring other funding sources in, because the taxes they do bring in, I'm sure, are not going to cover all of their needs that they're trying to affect. So if they're looking to strategize around legislative asks or impact fees, they should have all of them on the table when they're discussing how they want to strategize in the end. From the current status, just wanted to kind of reinforce that that formation of the PDA really, again, came with that responsibility, because they are holding the monies that we would otherwise, again, put into our citywide system. They have opportunities that they're working on in terms of creating rental or lease opportunities to create their revenue sources and streams. And of course, again, ICM, the City of Spokane, will continue to partner with them and help and facilitate as much as we can offer. So it's going to stop there if there's any questions.
Questions for Catherine? It's a lot of information. It'll take us a few minutes to process, I'm sure. You can always get back to Catherine. Go ahead, Council President.
I'm sure you said this explicitly, and do they have control of all the tax revenues that go through, or is it just the increased tax revenue?
Good question. I don't know if it's the increase or just, it must be the increase what's coming in, but maybe, Marlene, you've got that.
Yeah, so all the GFCs are all waived, so we're not seeing any GFC revenue, and then it is an incremental difference in sales tax and property tax. And there's some other revenues in there, utility tax was included as well. But you're right, it's the incremental increase plus GFCs.
And that was really the biggest point I wanted to share with Council, that they really were tasked to operate as independently as possible to solve their needs for the area. We did have some projects before the PDAs were developed already in the program. The City of Spokane is still going to follow through with those. In fact, you saw Kyle's presentation where he showed you the large 5 million gallon tank we're doing right now in terms of this summer, as well as that crossing under I-90. Those projects were already in the program. The city is taking those on at 100%. But the remaining projects that we went over with the PDA are theirs to plan out and strategize about.
Any other questions for Catherine?
Councilmember Kinnear?
Go ahead.
So Catherine, the PDA's funding plan, where does that come in? Does that come through integrated capital management, or the city never sees it, or how is that developed by the PDA, and does the city have absolutely nothing to do with that, their funding plan?
I believe each of the boards are, let me start over. There are council members on each of the boards. They're participating at the board level in terms of those conversations. Each PDA is at different stages of working on their strategies. For example, the West Plains PDA has completed a stormwater study, and so now they have a full understanding. It took about 2 years, full understanding of their stormwater issues, as well as the costs it'll take to address them. And they've also just kicked off late last year their transportation study, which is again going to look at all of their transportation needs into the future. And the expectation is those boards, respective boards, once they get that work done, respectively speaking, will then prioritize what they're looking to do. And when they come to council and the mayor and do those formal requests that come in a letter form to both council president and the mayor asking to have projects inserted into the 6-year program, it's with those funding sources understood. So they're not just coming with a project looking to be funded, but they're coming with a plan of how to fund it.
Thank you, Catherine.
Anything else? Go ahead, Council President.
I was just going to say, for those newer folks, and the challenge is, as Catherine mentioned, each PDA is at a different evolutionary stage of development. So the West Plains is rolling. They have plenty of new construction and development, so they're getting that incremental tax, which they can then invest in further infrastructure, which attracts others. The University District is kind of midway there. They have definitely some revenues coming in, and they're doing some projects. But as Councilmember Cathcart mentioned, the Northeast has so much potential, but doesn't have much incremental revenue coming in yet. So that's the challenge, and I think as a city we have to figure out how to get the Northeast PDA up and running a bit, and then when the incremental revenue is coming in, it's easier to say, all right, you guys just need to take care of it. But it's in those early days that it's more challenging. So that's just a challenge. But yeah, we have a board, we have a council member on each board, and we have an administration official on each board. And then the county commissioners also have a commissioner and an administration person. And then there's a couple of community people, and we do our own budgeting and spending and things like that.
Okay, good. Catherine, thank you so much. Appreciate your time. Marlene, thank you. Appreciate your time. And council members, our next meeting is February 28th. I know that seems odd. It's going to be February tomorrow, but indeed, there it is. So thanks everyone for attending, and we'll see you all at 3:30 for our briefing. And just a reminder to the public, we do not have a 6 o'clock legislative session tonight. So see you all then. Meeting adjourned.